All right, y'all. So we got a new report here from Mediaite. I found this interesting. I wanted to share with you. CNN considering hiring comedian to host non-traditional primetime show. Names floated include Bill Maher and Jon Stewart. So, here's why they did this. I'm speculating here, but I think it's pretty well founded. Fox News has that Gutfeld show. Now, Gutfeld's on air roughly 17 hours a day. He does that show, The Five, where he tells homeless people they're evil on a regular basis. And then at night, he hosts his show. I think it's just called Gutfeld, although I don't know for sure. And what Gutfeld did is he actually copied the format of Bill Maher's old show called Politically Incorrect, which was on in like the 1990s and early 2000s. And so that's like you have the host who kind of sits in the middle, then you have people sitting next to him, and it's like a panel show where they bring up a topic, they all talk about it and just, basically mess around. And my understanding is that Gutfeld's show is actually doing really well for its time slot. Like he's getting a lot of views for that time slot. So CNN, management at CNN, who by the way are totally useless and lost and terrible, and they're like, we're going to clean house and change the philosophy. Really? What are you going to change the philosophy to? We're going to be like neutral and like offend nobody and be like right down the middle on everything and make everybody despise us even more. Great idea. So anyway, they saw the success of Gutfeld, I think, and then they were like, we need to do something like that. And apparently talking about it behind the scenes, they're like, they want to bring in a big name. They want to bring in either Bill Maher or Jon Stewart. So let me see. This is my first time reading this article. I saw the headline. This is the first time I'm reading it, so we're learning about it together. Here's what they say. CNN is considering turning over some key hours on their schedule to not a veteran journalist, but a comedian. The cable news network has been shuffling the schedule and roster over the past few months, parting ways with Brian Stelter. Oh, what a loss. You guys let Brian Stelter go? Why? He was so dynamic and charismatic and smart and knowledgeable. I know I'm being a dick. I know. He seems like he's a nice guy, but God, he was in over his head. Holy cow. Oh my God, that guy has never said an interesting thing in his entire life. Returning Jake Tapper to his afternoon gig. Jake Tapper will never not sound like a porn star name. Tap Jaker, as I call him. Launching a new morning show with Caitlin Collins, Don Lemon, and Poppy Harlow. By the way, the ratings on that are abysmal. They're like horrendous. The morning show, which was there before, didn't get good ratings, and so CNN was like, we got to change this. They changed it, and the ratings went down. Oh, I love CNN. Oh, they're so bad. It's hilarious. Expanding Jim Acosta's weekend CNN newsroom duties and shaking up the daytime schedule with new anchor combinations. But there's still a big glaring hole in the 9 p.m. Eastern Time hour, formerly featuring Chris Cuomo, who was ousted after the blah, 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 blah. You guys know all the scandal where, he's working with his brother as his brother was sexually harassing everybody's grandma, and you guys know the deal. There were like 47 scandals he was covering for his brother as he was pretending to be objective. Chris Licht, who took the reins at CNN in the aftermath of the Warner Bros. Discovery merger, has been a driving force behind many of the changes. He's been adamant that he has no intention of bringing Cuomo back. By the way, Cuomo is now on an outlet called News Nation. And News Nation, I think, don't fact check me on this, but I think they have negative viewership. So like at any given time, negative 17 people are watching that network. So I think that's right. I think I read that somewhere. And the former Cuomo primetime host has a new show on they said it. According to a new report by Semaphore's Max Taney, Licht is considering taking an interesting risk with these primetime slots. Note update at the end of the article, Mediaite has independently confirmed Taney's reporting. Okay, so basically they are thinking about doing this. The names floated are Bill Maher, Trevor Noah, and Jon Stewart. Oh, again, Trevor Noah. Trevor drove the Daily Show into a ditch. He did. Keep it real. Like, I don't care what you think of him personally. You may like him personally, whatever. He just wasn't good at the job, right? And honestly, I think a lot of that had to do with when Trevor Noah came up. The reason why Jon Stewart liked him is because he was sort of like an edgy comedian. And then there were all these hit pieces in the media about how he was too edgy and this thing was racist and this thing was sexist. And then, like, it just totally took the edge off of him. And he was just the most banal, conventional wisdom spewing host ever. So again, even if you like Trevor Noah, even say, hey, his politics are kind of good or whatever, that's not the point. The point is he didn't do well on the Daily Show. He sort of drove it into the ground when it was this like cultural staple. Noah departed the Daily Show in December, blah, 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 blah. A potentially more realistic prospect, according to Tanny, is Bill Maher, since he's already in house at CNN's parent company, Warner Bros. Yeah, but here's the thing. I don't think Bill Maher would want to do it. So he's got to show real time with Bill Maher. Maybe he'll want to go back to like a politically incorrect style show, which is less prep for him. That's possible. But now he's got his podcast that he does. You know, he got in late to the podcast game. He saw Joe Rogan's success and he tries to do his own podcast. I watch from time to time. Got to be honest with you guys, I have a hard time watching it because I don't know. It's just he just seems like he's putting on an act 24/7. Like you don't like he's doing the I'm really authentic, but then it's not authentic. Anyway, CNN has undoubtedly seen the rating successes of Fox News' Gutfeld show. There you go. See? So they're making the same point I made. Anyway, so look, I'm curious what you guys think of this. Put it in the comment section below what you think of this. So I'm actually struggling to put into words how I feel about it because when I saw the headline, my initial reaction was like, ugh. I don't know why, because I actually like Jon Stewart. I think Jon Stewart is one of the few good voices who sort of was like a mainstream commentator to one extent or another. But I don't know. I couldn't put my finger on why, but my reaction when I saw this was kind of like, ugh. So don't get me wrong. I think if they were to do this, the show would do way, way better than anything else that they would put in that time slot. I think there's no doubt about it. I think if they do a show like this with Maher or Stewart or not Trevor Noah, but I think they'll get way better ratings, and I think they'll get way more attention from other media outlets. I think, I really think it would do better ratings-wise, but I don't know exactly why I'm sort of like, I think the reason is, like back in the day, in like the 1990s, when Maher got his start on Politically Incorrect, was started on Comedy Central, by the way, and then it went, I think, to ABC. There were like some new ideas being floated and people trying new things. And it was like, they took risks. You know what I mean? And they're framing this as like a risk. This isn't a risk. This is a shoo-in to get better ratings than whatever's in that stupid time slot now. And it's like, Maher was a nobody comedian. And they picked him out of the ether and was like, we'll give you a show. You got like a development deal. They're like, here, we'll give you a show. And then it ended up blowing up. And like, they would never in a million years take some new talent, whether it's a comedian or a political YouTuber, and go like, let's try this. And like, that's just, it's so obnoxious because it's that like conventional wisdom bubble in corporate media that will never be penetrated, ever. And it's sad, right? Like, so in other words, alternative media, independent media is going to keep doing its own thing online, and they have their own set of problems we could talk about, like audience capture, right? And corporate media will keep doing corporate media stuff. And like, even though I like Jon Stewart, there's like the approved outsiders in a sense. You know, that's why with the YouTube algorithm, for example, anytime you watch a secular talk video, it used to go to another secular talk video back when the algorithm was, in my estimation, more fair. Then after a while, they started prioritizing authoritative news over independent news. And so now we don't get recommended nearly as much as we used to. And so if you put autoplay on a video from secular talk, it'll go to John Oliver next, a large percentage of the time. And so he's like one of the approved outsiders. And again, I don't even have anything against John Oliver necessarily. I think he's one of the better of these sorts of people. I have some issues with him, but it's not crazy, right? And it's like, that's what this is too, you know? It's like, oh yeah, we'll be edgy, but we're only going to go this far. And it's going to be an already approved kind of voice. Again, don't get it twisted. I would love to see Jon Stewart in particular in that time slot. And I know we'll get better ratings than anything else. But it's still like, if you want to change stuff up, actually change stuff up. Like, there are things these idiots in corporate media can learn from independent media folks and new media folks, and they wouldn't even entertain the conversation. They wouldn't even entertain it. It is theoretically possible to create a network that is on TV, that is news-focused and commentary-focused, that is like quadruple what the ratings are right now. And they would laugh it out of the room if it was presented to them. So I think that's why I have a weird feeling about it. I think even a Maher show would get decent ratings, but, you know, it's enough already. It's enough already. It's enough. It's enough. We get it. We get it, Bill. We know your thing. I'm Bill Maher. We get it. We got it. Relax. Okay. So anyway, there you have it. Would you watch the show if it was Maher, if it was Jon Stewart? Would you watch it? And do you agree with me that the ratings would be better? And do you agree with me that something about it still doesn't feel right, even though I can't put my finger on why? If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.